Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another 2-Bit Talks, and this time we're talking about Sony's E3 2017, and we're going to get into that. We're going to go down, I'll go down the list of a few of the games, get my little note here. Unfortunately, actually, I have to be honest, I had to watch these in retrospect because I was told to go to Taco Bell to get some food when they started, and so I was there, but when I got back, they wrote down the games that they showed, and I went back and I watched the trailers for them. But Uncharted's, what was it, Lost Legacy and Zero Dawn Frozen Wilds, they just showed off, which is, I guess Uncharted's kind of like, it's this weird thing, which we saw a lot of this during E3, is where it's like an expansion to the original game, but it's also like standalone, so like it's not like a part of the main game, but it is like, you get what I mean? It's like this standalone expansion where it's like a side story or
so something to keep the franchise going. Yeah,
and which is what Uncharted Lost Legacy is. It focuses on two totally different characters from the main character of the series, and looks exciting. I will say Uncharted 4 next to Horizon Zero Dawn is probably like a really great game to show me like, okay, show me what the PS4 can do. It's a really beautiful game. I think it's very, very detailed.
Talking about Zero Dawn?
Well, I was saying Uncharted, but then when you go to Zero Dawn, it's even better. Like, and Zero Dawn takes advantage of HDR and whatnot. So, by the way, if you're in the market for a PS4 Pro and you have a 4K TV or whatnot, get Zero Dawn is, I think, the game to get for that.
These are also PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah, PlayStation exclusives.
2 tentpole PlayStation exclusives that they had a really good showing on. They showed you why you should have a PS4 Pro.
They showed it, which I'm going to get on later in this though, because you didn't watch it, so you'll see. But yeah, they showed all these, and when you just hear me talking about it, you're like, oh man, this is exciting. Sony was so cold and detached in the presentation of it. So they just showed up and showed a bunch of trailers and then left.
There was no... Well, you did say that Phil Spencer's on the board of E3, so maybe he was like...
Maybe you can't... Well, I think they are too. I think it's like a collective, kind of thing. But
Sony's busy. They got a lot of fingers and a lot of pies. They got to go make that emoji movie.
They got to go make that emoji. You're right. Half the staff was going to make the emoji movie. But no, it didn't. It came off very cold, and all they were doing was showing you games. And here's another bad thing, which we might discuss later. Everything they showed us last year. So this is all stuff that's been shown already.
That was the main contrast for me. It's like Microsoft's E3. Microsoft's gaming division is personal. They care about what the gamers want. They care about what people want. Sony is corporate. They want to put as much shit, throw as much shit at the wall, and just coldly give you as much content as possible to maximize their profit margins. To me, that's how it feels. Like the relationship feels that way to me personally.
Yeah.
I think of Xbox as something that I can connect to, and I feel like Sony is something that I buy into. I don't know.
That's actually perfect. That's how I feel about it too. Like, I mean, Microsoft, of course, during the 360 era was very like corporate-y and all that, but that was just the management. But now we got someone in there who's very wanting. They want to make sure, like you said, they do want to make money off of you. They do want to sell you a product, but they also want to make sure you enjoy the product. Where Sony's just, I feel sometimes more profit. But anyway, we're getting into the weeds there.
Yeah.
But moving on, they also showed what I call a Dead Rising clone, which, what was it,
Was it that?
Days Gone or something like that?
Yeah.
It's like a mix between Dead Rising and like
The Last of Us.
Ride to Hell. That terrible 360 game. It's like, I'm a biker during the zombie apocalypse. But granted, it looks pretty good. I like open world zombie games, so I'm not going to judge it too harshly, but I saw it, I'm just kind of like, this is your answer to this, so maybe it'll be great, we'll see. But there wasn't a whole lot that really got me excited about this. Just, another open world zombie game. There's lots of those.
Right.
Moving on, we went to, before, again, games that was the good thing. Sony, again, doing just games focused, but with a twist this year. Almost everyone was like, they had a whole section where it's like VR game, VR game, VR game. Like, here's my problem with that. I like that they're pushing that this is something, they have a peripheral for their system that they want to sell. It's great that you're pushing this, but you can't fully appreciate VR by watching a trailer on your cell phone or on your computer screen or on your TV screen. You actually have to have the headset on you and to fully experience it. So while these games looked awesome, I felt like they weren't like...
Well, you remember when Xbox One first came out, and every Best Buy and Walmart had a demo area with where you could stand in front of the Kinect, or you could stand in front of the PlayStation with the motion controls, and you could try it. They need to have demo areas set up in stores to try these VR kits, even if it's just 2 weekends a month where they have staff to sanitize the headsets or something. Get the headsets on people who are skeptical. PlayStation VR is on the low end of the gaming VR market. From what I understand, the tech is subpar, but that's why it's $300. That's why it can run off of a PlayStation 4. And Oculus and Vive don't have brick and mortar stores, and they're not selling these things in stores as far as I know. I've never seen one in a Target. You have to pay the $800, $900 to get it from their website. But if there were VR demo areas in stores and more people could experience the possibilities and and see what that experience is like, I feel like it would be easier to get someone to adopt even a $300 headset. That's why I was a big fan of Google Cardboard, but right now VR is seeing this plateau because there's a high bar for entry. That there's a financial limitation. A lot of people don't want to get the PlayStation VR because it's, what, $300?
Yeah, and then on top of that, to get the best VR experience, you have to get the Pro, which is $400.
Right.
So you're looking at, was that $700? Yeah, about $700.
Which is how much you would have to pay just for a good PC to run an Oculus, which is another $700. But my point is, people with, they get motion sickness really easily, people that don't expect a VR experience to blow them away, they're not going to go out and invest $300 just to play one shooter game and say, you know, this sucks.
Yeah. And I just felt like it's awesome. Like, I feel like they're making it, especially for people who've already gone out there and bought these VR headsets. I don't know the percentage, but I'm pretty sure it's on the lower end.
Sold a million?
But it's still, $1 million?
I think they've sold 1 million, but it's not like...
that's kind of bad.
Apparently, 1 million people is not enough word of mouth. People are not out there blowing up forums about the PlayStation VR.
And that actually kind of looks bad because you have 60 some odd million PS4s sold, and only 1 million out of that 60 million
decided to drop the VR.
Yeah. So, but I feel like this is good on Sony because they're wanting to deliver. I feel like deliver for people to jump on board and get VR, but also delivering for the people who have already put down the money. So I think it's good on Sony to have, like, it's this weird thing. I felt like in one sense it really wasn't showing you what VR is truly capable of, but in the other sense I can see, okay, they're showing you this is what's worthwhile. And for people who have already bought our headset, we're showing you this is what the wait was for. You got it, you played a few games, here's what else we're making for you.
Right.
So I thought it was a necessary thing to have in their show, but ultimately I didn't think it achieved the goals that they wanted.
The content is an incentive, but the overall experience, you know, title to title is what matters, and people have to get their hands on these things. Maybe we need to go back to the old days where you could go rent a system at a Blockbuster.
Yeah. or maybe Sony, in their infinite wisdom, will watch our small little channel here and go, we need to cancel the Emoji Movie, and then we need to put demos up in Best Buys and even in GameStops and have demos, because you're right, if you can get it physically on someone's head and get them to actually experience it, they might go, this was a great experience, I need this, and they'll plop the money down to get it. Moving on to the games that they showed there, of course every year they actually ended, towards the end of the show, they showed your obligatory Call of Duty game, which took a lot of cues this year, or this year they took a lot of cues from Battlefield 1 last year. It's like, you look at it, it's like, oh, we're going back to World War II, but I saw that trailer and I saw shades of Battlefield 1's reveal trailer, where it's like cut in alternative rock / alternative, gritty, song, and then show war happening while it's playing, and it really felt like that's what they did. It's Call of Duty, I think. yes, Call of Duty has a large fan base, but they're done. In my opinion, creatively especially, they're done. They're just kind of, what's popular? Let's use that. Titanfall came out, and then remember, Call of Duty started doing the wall run thing because they saw it in that game. So you can tell they're not innovating anymore. They're just kind of
keeping up with status quo.
Keeping up with status quo and trying to milk the cow as much as they can. Same, they showed Destiny 2, which, I mean, I'm excited for that game, but then again, it's like, PS4 is like, we're going to get an exclusive strike and this exotic weapon, but there's no real reason to get Destiny 2 for PS4 if you own an Xbox One. Or if you're, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no, I don't know why that, you can show that stuff off if you actually have some real legitimate like story element exclusives for the PS4, then you know, be like, yes, we're gonna you know, give a lot of time to show this. But besides that, I don't know, I just think it's a waste of time. It's like, it's a third-party game. You know, it doesn't need that much
hype.
Yeah, hype, and something else could have gone there that's more important. They showed, of course, Dad of War. Oh, my bad. God of War. God of War. Sorry.
Kratos is all old and shit now.
All old and shit. And I actually shamelessly stole that from Daniel from Video Game Book Club, but I will use it. Dad of War. And it's interesting because he's like, it's the Greek myths clashing with, I guess, Nordic myth and all that. And there was an interesting line they said where it's like, you guys think you're so civilized and that we're barbaric. It's like did I say Nordic? I meant Norse mythology. So it's like Norse mythology and Greek mythology are like, in this game, going to clash together.
And God of War 8 is going to be like Kratos faces Jesus.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I would
like they keep taking all the religious, you know, symbols.
I would buy a PS7 to play that. Ultimately, they showed a lot of games, but there wasn't a whole lot of passion in their presentation.
Corporate.
And yeah, very, very corporate. One game they did show was Detroit, which I'm excited for. I'm a sucker for those games. Indigo Prophecies. What was it? Heavy Rain. What was it? Was it Two Souls or something? The story always ends up disappointing because the guy writes himself into a corner, or it just comes off very pretentious at the end. But this is the game I'm gonna want to get. I'm probably gonna get a PS4 just so I can play Detroit. They get me every time. The people, Quantum Dreams, I think is the name of the developer. They get me every time. I love their games, even though the stories end up being shit. They're really good at the beginning, but you get towards the end, you're like, oh, you guys are making it seem like it was going to be
I felt that way with Indigo Prophecies.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about? They build it up, and then they have a weak payoff at the end.
But it was still cool. It's an interesting genre of games.
Yeah.
I like it. It's one of the only games I've ever actually played all the way through.
Yeah, and one thing I didn't mention, I watched it, and I actually seen some other people talk about it, so it's kind of sort of confirmed. The crowd was pretty much dead throughout the show.
Well, is that crowd made out of fans, or are they made? Is it like the developers conference? Are they made out of like?
It's mostly there's a lot of consumers now, and I thought maybe it was because it did liven up after they showed Dad of War. Mm-hmm. It did liven up more, and they got a little bit more raucous, but they had a very slow start.
Right.
And I don't know if it's a combination of, because they were in like this theater kind of thing, so maybe it's the acoustics too, but yeah, the crowd just seemed dead through most of it. They picked up a little bit, but then ultimately I do think it's also because of their presentation. They weren't really, Sony wasn't trying, they were just, we're here, here's the trailers, bye. That's it. There was no like passion. They weren't like, we're really excited. Whether you liked it or not, Xbox was trying in their conference, where Sony I felt wasn't. And again, they're at the top, so they're just kind of like, well, here's the games. We're going to collect our money here, and we will see you next year. You know, that's kind of how they work.
When you start getting complacent, that's a killer, man.
Yeah, and I felt like that they were complacent this year. Lastly, they did close the show with what I like to call Spider-Man, or Arkham Knight Spider-Man Edition.
The Spider-Man game.
The Spider-Man game that's coming out, which I'm kind of excited for, because I think puts Spider-Man get Arkham gameplay mechanics and put them in Spider-Man, they mesh well because Batman and Spider-Man both go from rooftop to rooftop kind of thing. So that could work, but it was definitely like I was watching this, I'm like, this is Arkham gameplay. And it's from Insomniac Games, I believe, who've made Sunset Overdrive, who've made the Resistance, Fall of Man series, which I love this developer. So I think this is going to be a good game, but I also felt, I mean, smart on them, Spider-Man Homecoming's coming out. Right. End your show with the Spider-Man video game.
Of course Sony's going to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Sony is going to hold on to that Spider-Man license and milk it. It's not like the Spider-Man Homecoming video game. It's like the Spider-Man, what is it called? Spider-Man?
Yeah,
Spider-Man
I think it's just Spider-Man.
Or something.
It's just Spider-Man.
He's a different suit. He has like a big white spider. Yeah. He's all in all, it looks like.
Because doesn't Marvel control that now? The movie anyway, the direction, the creative direction.
Right. So
maybe Sony's like, well, we'll do our own little Spider-Man game here on the side.
And yeah, they're still gonna build out the cinematic universe with Spider-Man's ancillary characters, but Spider-Man as a character is gonna be in Marvel movies for the time being, maybe one or two of them. But I watched the whole Spider-Man demo because I'm a big Spider-Man fan, and it was interesting. It was very colorful, and it was looked like it was well done. Some mechanics with him swinging and fighting didn't feel like they really had much of an impact to me. It seemed like the animations were a little bit off or something. He didn't feel like he didn't seem like he had a real weight when he would zip around and stuff. He seemed like his movements weren't as fluid, but the fighting mechanics looks interesting. The way that he has different web shooter setups is interesting, and the sneaking and stealth aspect of it was pretty interesting, and the web swinging. I mean, I mentioned Spider-Man 2 at one point because I used to just get on my Xbox and just web swing on Spider-Man 2. Go to the top of the Empire State Building and just jump off and web swing down the avenue there. Like I love web swing. If it was a game where it was just like Spider-Man web swinging, just infinite web swinging, I would just buy that game and just.
And that was the great thing about Spider-Man 2 was the actual web swinging mechanics. They got that right, and they just drop you in an open world New York City. Yeah. And just have at it.
And that was one of the things with this trailer. It looked really good. As he was he had a lot of transitions between web swinging and wall running and flying through gaps, and like he flew through a gap in a fire escape, and then there was a cut scene where he flew into an office building and you had to run through the office building while it was blowing up and stuff, and save civilians from falling helicopter parts and stuff. And
which, by the way, Sony, you finally got to use that scene. It was in a video game, but you finally got to use. Do you remember that? That was actually going to be an original scene in the first Spider-Man movie.
With the helicopter.
And like having to like web sling it and get it caught into in between these two buildings.
Yeah.
But then 9/11 happened, and Sony, I guess, thought that wouldn't be right.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and they took that out of the movie. But now here we go.
I was never supposed to forget, but I forgot.
You forgot. And then decades later, we got to use that scene. We spent money on that scene.
I don't think that's accurate. I don't think that's what they.
That's not accurate, but I could see them. I mean, hell, they did the Emoji Movie. They can do anything, Jonathan.
The one thing I hope they do in this game is they do make it like an open world. It's not just going to be on rails. Like, it'd be really cool to see Spider-Man dropped into New York and have side quests like in Spider-Man 2, except actually be able to go into buildings and stuff like that. Like, that was one of my things about Spider-Man 2 is like if they could just make it more immersive. Yeah. Imagine Spider-Man in like Grand Theft Auto 5, like that kind of immersion.
Which I think they're going to do because Insomniac, like one of their last games was Sunset Overdrive, which is an open world game. And so they're capable of it.
Right.
With that, again, there was like no surprises at all. They showed us a bunch of stuff that we already knew that they had, and so Sony just really wasn't trying. Just trailer after trailer after trailer. It was funny. The head Sony guy came out right before they ended the show. He's like, oh, "Hold your breath. Whew, hold your breath." Like, what? We're fine. There's nothing exciting. You're not blowing. He was acting like they just played this awesome rock show, and it's just like, hold on, I got one more for you.
Yeah, here's the encore.
Here's the encore. Everyone was just kind of like, okay.
Was it the Spider-Man game?
Yeah, it was the Spider-Man game. So
we're gonna come out here. We're gonna jerk ourselves off because we own Spider-Man and we assume it's the thing that you're most excited about because it's going to make the most money for us. So here it is.
Yeah, which it was. Yeah, it wasn't. Like, I felt like interesting game, really weak, really weak. You know, ending. You know, to use that, I would have used something else. Maybe. I mean, again, I might have used even. We didn't really talk about this much. But Shadow of the Colossus HD Remake, even though we got an HD remaster for the PS3, but still they had that. I would have ended it on that. Again, Sony triple dipping this year into nostalgia and retro, and then they claim that you don't want to play old games on your new console. That's why they don't have backwards compatibility, but they will sell you an HD remaster of an old PS2 game.
Because they're corporate and they make everything they do is in the vein of making money.
Making money, yeah. And I think this is the turning point this year where that starts to, you know, I think more and more people are going to go realize that the Sony of 2013, when they're like, we're for the gamers and you can share your game, unlike Xbox, I think those days are done. And, you know, whether it be Microsoft or Nintendo, they're going to be nipping at Sony's heels, I think, for the next, 2-3 years, and it's going to get really competitive. I think
that's good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good for everyone. And I was going to say, back onto the Sony E3 thing though. Maybe we'll get more surprises at PlayStation Experience, which is a fan fest that they do and they reveal things, or maybe even Gamescom later this year. Sony likes to kind of, it seems now, pepper out. They don't just do E3, like give everything at E3. They kind of spread it out over the year.
Well, it's like we mentioned earlier this year that E3 is no longer the showcase for your stuff. It's more like, we're going to keep up appearances and show you what you want to see at E3, but then we're going to have our own conferences, our own announcements, like Nintendo, you know, we're going to have our own.
Which we will be discussing here in a minute, but that's all we have time for today, guys. Please let us know in the comment section below what you thought of Sony's E3 conference, and of course, always like, share, and subscribe, and please send us your questions at 2BitJesus on Twitter. And with that, guys, stay safe and play on.